Good morning, or maybe I should say Guten Tag. My name's Jay Martin. I'm the head soccer coach at Ohio Wesleyan University and the editor of Soccer Journal. And it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce a friend of mine who has come in with an assistant coach from Schalke 04. First, I will introduce Markus Kaya, who is Bodo's assistant for this afternoon session. And let me remind you, please, that the second part of this presentation will be at 1 o'clock on the main field, field number 2, I believe, in the convention center. And they will run a session with the DC United U17s, I believe, or maybe 19s. Well, you'll see. I hope you can all make that. Markus has been a professional soccer player since 1996 until recently, where he is now the assistant coach for the U17s at Schalke. He played at Schalke on the first team in 1999 with Hup Stevens and is working his way up in a very, very good youth academy program with Schalke. Bodo Mensa is the manager of international relations for Schalke 04. Few people can explain the secrets behind the success of German soccer better than Bodo. He's known as the architect of FC Schalke's famous Knappenschmiede Youth Academy. Bodo has a long history with FC Schalke. In fact, he was born within walking distance of the stadium and has lived in Gelsenkirchen his entire life. Bodo ran Schalke's renowned Knappenschmiede Youth Academy for 23 years, from 1991 to 2013, which has produced a large number of world-class players for Germany and UEFA. The long line of talent to graduate from the academy includes Max Meyer, Leroy Sana, Timon Wellenreuther, Felix Plata, Pierre Michael Lesoga, Mesut Ozil, Manuel Neuer, Benedikt Hoedes, Julian Draxler, Joel Matip, and Siad Kolasinac. Bodo has also a keen eye for managerial talent because he takes full credit for hiring Norbert Elgert, who's Schalke's U19 coach and considered one of the best youth coaches, or maybe the best youth coach, except for Markus, of course, in Germany. His U19 teams won the German Championship 2006, 2012, and 2015. And
Weston McKinney has been among in the under-19 team.
Weston McKinney played for Norbert last year before he made his debut with the Schalke first team.
And Nick Teichego is member of his team as well.
Prior to his tenure with Schalke, Bodo received his degree in physical education and French language from the Ruhr University in Bochum. He received his UEFA Pro license at the Sport University in Cologne in '83. From 85 to 91, he was technical director of the League of Lower Rhine region and in the sports school of Duisburg. He won a German championship league in 1990. He's followed by a U.S. journey to Chicago, Racine, Wisconsin with the team, declared organized by DFB as the German amateur national team in 1991. This is Bodo's second trip to our convention. He was in LA last year and was so well received that we invited him back. I keep forgetting about the name change. I apologize. We invited him back this year. I'm looking forward to this hour, and at 1 o'clock, I hope I see you all again on the main field. Bodo Mensa.
Yeah, Jay, thanks a lot for the nice introduction. I have forgotten a lot of my life, but it's good to re-hear. First of all, a happy new year for everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today and to present at the USC convention. As Jay said, last year it was another thing for me, because it was the NSCAA convention in LA. And so things changed as well for my life. Basically, there are the links with human beings which grant value to life. It was not me to say this. It was Wilhelm von Humboldt in the 19th century and the French guy Guy de Maupassant. He said a little bit the same words. And this is why I love to be here among you and to come back to Philadelphia this time. And thanks for all the help I got beforehand to Jay Martin, to Ryan Martin, who will come with his team from United DC, from Washington today for the presentation at 1 o'clock, and to the never forgettable Mandy O'Donnell. Mandy, without you, I would be lost in America, and I think as well in the whole world. Thank you. So let's start the presentation with a little royal blue impressions by video clip.
Wusste nicht, wohin mit dem Ball, haben wir einfach reingewichst.
Born underground. Founded by friends. Celebrated by fans. Innovative. Alive through its members. Courageous. Social. Evolving. Adored. Together. Born out of tradition. With heart and passion. Schalke. Wir leben dich.
So I will come back to all this. Schalke has been founded in 1904. That's why the 04 is be found in the name. And it is a quarter of the city of Gelsenkirchen in the western part of Republic Federal in Germany, touching a little bit the Netherlands frontier. And the Knappen was the name of the old workers in the mines, and that is because of this fact Schalker Knappen is a terminus which knows everyone in football. If you see the chiffre 140,000 members, it is not quite right, because of the fact that in the last month it has grown up to 150,000 members. It is a member-based club, and the formation center of the club is the so-called famous Knappenschmiede, the youth academy, consistently prudent, world-class players in Europe, and the club played in the last 15 years relatively continuously Europe challenges like Champions League and like Europa League. This year it is not the case, so we will get it for the next season, and this falls well because it gives me the possibility, the time to come to Philly. So everything all right, life goes on, and this is Schalke, based with the members, always sold out stadiums, a real huge ambience and atmosphere. Whoever has been there would consent in me, and who has not yet, I would think that it should be a trip to come to Germany one day and to see one of the matches in the Veltins Arena. So, virtues out of the name Schalke already. Siegermentalität, which means winner mentality. Second letter is a C for character. And then it is heart, soul, sweat, and tears, Herzblut, which is necessary in our eyes for the whole academy to end with the players in the first team. And then it is A for acceptance. We are in a team, playing in a team with a teamwork. We have Leidenschaft, which means passion. Kampfgeist, I would say it's a fighting spirit. And the E for Ehrlichkeit, which means honesty. Let me add to these virtues seen in the presentation still some other virtues which have to be mentioned in this moment as well. It is courage, it is justice, it is prudence, but it is as well wisdom, it is humility, humbleness, modesty, patience, and perseverance. That are the virtues, I think, which are necessary for all of us in a team sport, not only in soccer, not only in football, but here as well. In this context, a wise old coach of mine, it was Mr. Herbert Wittmeier in the early 80s, told us in the very beginning of the 1980s the following: guys, take care of the fellow human beings surrounding you on the way to the top. It might be that you will meet them again on your way back down. I have never forgotten this, and I think that Mr. Wittmeier, who has been the first Bundesliga coach to be fired in 1964, when he was coach on the Bundesliga team in Nürnberg with the 1. FC Nürnberg, in his first year of its existence of Bundesliga. I have never forgot it, and I hope that I will never do. By the way of a quick background, my own history with FC Schalke 04 goes back to the year 1964. When I played for the club in the first time as an 11-year-old boy, beforehand it was the backyard, and my the house of my parents, and the first stadium, Glückaufkampfbahn, was only separated by this backyard. I actually grew up in the town of Gelsenkirchen, which has been the home of Schalke since '04. And Björn Osik, who is sitting there coming from Ontario, Toronto, knows this history because he has grown up there as well. And by the way, that's what the 04 in the name of the club stands for, 1904 inauguration. For 23 years, I ran Schalke's famous Knappenschmiede Academy, Youth Academy, which we are so proud to say has produced a continuous stream of world-class players across Germany and across Europe. To tell you some names, it is Manuel Neuer, who has been 20 years on my side, coming as 4-year-old boy to me and changing to FC Bayern Munich for a huge sum of money as 25-year-old boy. Then it was Benedikt Hövedes from the year 1988, who changed recently to Juventus Turin in Italy. It was Mesut Özil, the half-left offensive midfield player, who went from us to Werder Bremen, changed from Werder Bremen to Wolfsburg, went from from Bremen to Real Madrid, and went from Real Madrid at the end to Mr. Arsene Wenger in London for FC Arsenal. Then we have from the year 1988 as well, born Ralf Fährmann, our own goalkeeper, who came in the age of 15 to our club, to the academy. Joel Matip, playing today for FC Liverpool, for Jürgen Klopp's team, coming in the age of 12, staying till 2021. Julian Draxler, 7 years formation in the academy, brought him after the station of Schalke and VfL Wolfsburg at last to Paris Saint-Germain in France. Then we had Sead Kolasinac playing in Arsenal as well. Max Meyer, luckily he plays for our own team still. That cannot be said from Leroy Sané, perhaps one of the best of them, the quickest one, the best football midfielder, striker. He has a little bit of everything. He's flying over the pitch, and he is the one playing for Pep Guardiola's Man City today and brought a lot of compensation fee to our club. And the last one is Thilo Kehrer. Thilo Kehrer stays in our own team. Of course, if you saw the US match against Portugal last month, you are aware of the man of the match, Weston McKennie. He came to the first team through the Knappenschmiede along with other very promising Americans like Nick Taitegu from FC Richmond in Virginia, and Hachi Wright coming from California and going on loan to SV Sandhausen in the second Bundesliga in the south of the Republic. I have the concept of the USC I love this concept of the USC convention, as it gives everyone a chance to share information with others and hopefully bring new learnings back to our training pitches in Gelsenkirchen. I know there's a lot of talk and theories on the didactics and methodology of teaching soccer. While I don't believe there's an absolute correct way to train young soccer players, I can tell you that I have had a tremendous success at our Knappenschmiede, and I'm happy to share our overall approach and methodology with you. These key questions we asked to ground us all the time. We always ask ourselves these three basic questions. Number one is, how in generally can we teach newcomers to play soccer? Number two, how can we teach newcomers to play, how can we make the process of teaching soccer easier so that beginners understand and learn the game properly? And C, the third question, which is based on the findings of sport educators Dietrich, Dürwichter, and Schaller, asks, is it better to learn the technique of the game at first? Or is it more important to focus on the concept and on the idea of the game? The core learning process is focused around the reduced structure and gameplay, but one must always be connected to the game concept itself. Always be aware that different styles in a soccer game are only means to the end. The main purpose of implementing the game idea. And the game idea in football is a very clear one. The game idea in football means to score goals on the one side and to hinder the opponent to score goals on the other side. This is the clear idea of soccer. We need to make sure that the learning of the game is a cognitive process where the ability to play is the main training goal, but also in a social and emotional way. The early learning stages also involve planning and evaluation of training output and results. At this point, the child's technique and motor skills are not the most important components. The requirements for the game-related technique, emotional levels, and social decisions are controlled by cognitive processes. But we cannot reduce the ability of playing the game just on cognitive behavior, because physical components like endurance, strength, speed, coordination, and flexibility also play a vital role. The game styles require strategies, but the implementation and performance always require overall coordination. That is why you can support the learning process with textbooks, but it must work hand in hand with other strategies. Complex game skills only improve and develop if you play by yourself. But that also needs to include a separate development and training program built around force, speed, endurance, technique, and tactical skills. Basically, we can say that the development of gameplay skills starts and ends with playing the game, but the repetition of training exercises is important to significantly improve and develop the best skills. It is clear that exercising and training lead to increased ability, and consistent, meaningful training nurtures that ability and prevents the player from losing it. Therefore, exercising and training always need to go hand in hand and be a critical component of the game. The quality of the game, the quality of the training content is determined by three components. The number one, methodically and starting from easy to more difficult exercises, but they all need to include, number one, game skills will be learned by focusing on the idea of soccer. Number one. Number two, methodically and starting from easy to more difficult exercises, but they all need to include the same game idea. And number three, next to playing, meaningful exercising and training need to be represented during the entirety of the development process. When it comes to methodology, we always talk about examples to implement the game idea, whereas the sense of these exercises is to use tactical skills to learn solving different game tasks. It is not important to perform in a perfect technical way, but more to find the right tactical solution and game plan for a certain game situation. We use three methodical approaches at the Knappenschmiede. At first, it is the methodical game plays. This is a simplified program that allows the player to get game-related experience out of the exercise. The game idea itself will be simplified and compressed to various game situations. The main idea of the game plan will not be changed. Secondly, the second approach is methodical exercises. In this situation, a fixed formation of players are doing recurring runs and movements under the same condition in a repetitive way. This can be done with any number of players. For instance, a solo player can work with the ball. Two players can stand across from each other, or by three can play in a triangle. Simplified game-related elements will be accomplished with the overarching objective to improve the game-related skills. Basically, we go from the main game form to a simplified game-related form, and then back to the main form of the game again. Into the simplified game-related exercises, you can implement motor skills and tactical elements like shots on the goal, passing, 1-2 passing, running, and specific game situations. Let me use a quick picture, what I wanted to draw. You are on the main road. You are in the game. You see the game idea itself. And then you remark with your team, with some players, with the boys, with the girls, that there are some lacks of technical elements which you should perhaps do in a repetitive way. You go out of the main road, you go left or right in a dead-end road, and you work on this without getting forward. You make 500 repetitions, and you see that there is an increase and an improvement. And you go back with the player into the main road, you continue, and you see that you can go forward far away with a lot of abilities. So the final and most important methodical game form is the concept of the gameplay order. This is helpful to provide basic insights and enable a better continuous understanding of the game. Within the gameplay order, the learning process represents the basis and extension of game-specific knowledge, game plans, and social relationships, while still incorporating the technical motor skills dynamic. If detailed technique or tactical skills seem to be necessary for the main game, we call it a methodical exercise order. The exercise order provides game-related exercises from the methodical point of view. We have two basis procedures for this called the elemental synthetic method and the integral analytic method. The elemental synthetic method is where we use a single game element of soccer and the combination of these elements in the context of the main game. The exercise order is the most important step in this case. The integral analytic method is where we use multiple game elements coming from the age-related simplification of the game and moving an increased level of difficult game plays to achieve the overall goal. The ability to play our wonderful football. Already the first step of the methodical form is connected to the main game itself. On every step towards the learning objective, we can use the technical and the tactical elements, game elements, related to the final objective game plan. Is everybody with me so far? Just a few more quick words about the topic of team leading. I believe that the small things are important and should become a standard component of all training regimes, especially from the so-called stars. And you know what I mean if I talk about the so-called stars. We had Raúl González playing in Schalke. He was a star. He behaved like a normal man. He was not a so-called star. Only to show the difference. Every session, every training session should consist of a proper 15-minute warm-up. Seriously done, followed by clean execution of all technical exercises. Finally, above everything else, we are strong supporters and believers of team spirit and of cohesiveness. This means, on the pitch, defending as a whole team and striving towards mutual objectives, always collectively. It also means adhering to simple rules like punctuality and no cell phones in the dressing room. The kids love that one. But at the end of the day, we truly believe that on top of everything else, simple words, support, and encouragement also helps a lot. Before coming to the training session itself, please let me say some words about the young Americans being under contract in Schalke 04. I mentioned Haji Wright. Haji Wright is on loan for this moment in SV Sandhausen, second Bundesliga. The former head coach of our under-23 team is assistant coach in Sandhausen, and I am very good linked with him, and we have several telephone calls. He is a striker, Hachi. If he cannot, coming from California, if he cannot get regular minutes in 2018, he will have difficulties to stay in the pool of the top striker prospects for the US national team. Perhaps it's a little bit a lack of seriousness and severity and continuity in him. I hope for him that he gets the point, but I'm not convinced for the moment. The second one is Nick Taitegu, playing in our under-19 team. First, for the moment, in under-19 Bundesliga West, followed by BVB 09, our big rival, 35 kilometers only separating both clubs. Takes a good development. He is for the moment a little bit injured, but he will be playing in the second leg of the season, regarded in US soccer circles as very technical, skilled talent. He's a midfield player, has the capability to reach the senior national team in my eyes, if everything goes a right way with him. He is super serious and he has an excellent character. I changed some words with him before starting to Philly. And then the third one is Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie is shown with a friendly match we had last summer in China, in Changzhou, against Inter Milano, and it was on 21st July 2017. Weston is a member of our professional team squad. He's a central defensive midfielder. Enjoyed the breakthrough to our first Bundesliga team, which is after Bayern Munich second for the moment, third for the moment in tableau. And it came too late for him to play a positive role in the World Cup qualifying for USA, but one door is shut, another opens, I think, and I am very convinced that he will play a very good starting role with the US team in the run of 2018. Have an eye on him as well. Weston has a certain humor, which I love, and he has a wonderful character and very good winner mentality. At this point, I will give you some impressions from Weston.
I mean, it all came to the situation whenever I was living in Germany with my dad and my family and stuff, because my dad was in the army, so we got stationed in Germany. It was either Germany or Alaska, so we went to Germany, and they only had soccer there, so I started playing soccer. I fell in love with the game, and I went back to America and I started playing football again, and then I started both. So I started playing soccer and football at the same time. I had training every day and had games on the weekend, and I have to go to my soccer game, score a couple goals, or go up in the score and then leave to my football game. But it came to a point where it started taking a toll on my body, so I had to make a decision if I wanted to play American football or soccer, and I went with soccer. I saw a better future for myself in that sport, so I'm here today. Choosing Schalke was something that I decided from the get-go, and you know, the fans, the atmosphere, everyone here, everyone in the office, the coaching staff is such a good atmosphere for me to develop as a player, and you know, Schalke fine. It's a first-time thing for me, and it's something that I've always dreamed for, and everybody gets nervous whenever they're about to accomplish their dream, so yeah. I mean, I'm the youngest on the team, so I got to take care of all the materials. He kind of instated me as the captain of the young players to take care of materials. So whenever someone doesn't do a job, it comes on me. And you know, carrying that big box, sometimes it has a buttload of water in it, and you know, just carrying it hurts my back sometimes. And you know, if I'm like, I don't really want to take it today, hopefully someone comes up and trains that's younger than me so they can take it. But no, I mean, it's something that I have to do. I mean, all the players did it at one point in their career. Everyone was young at one point, so you know, I guess maybe in a couple years I won't have to do it anymore. I love music. Music is a huge part of my life. I mean, as many players have it as their pre-game and have it as a ritual for them, and it's sort of my ritual. I mean, it's something I have to have in my everyday life. I mean, I don't think there's been a day where I haven't gone that I haven't listened to music unless something happened. I don't know, but it cheers me up in bad mood sometimes, and it's kind of my pre-game ritual. I love listening to music, and the players in the locker room always get on to me saying, hey, shut up, Weston. You can't sing. Wes, stop singing. But, you know, it's my personality, so it's something I'm always going to do. I'm always going to dance. I'm always going to sing. So just the person I am.
So at this point, I would like to continue with the explanation concerning the contents of our on-field session which will be presented at 1 p.m. And I will go quite quickly through it so that everyone who has interest to join us knows a little bit in which direction it will go. We will have the Academy United DC team from Washington to help us. Coach is Academy Director Ryan Martin, and I'm very happy, Jay, that this has functioned so far. So it is elementary attacking behavior. It is a training session, a training unity out of the program of our under-17 Bundesliga team in Schalke. So we need elementary attacking behavior to prepare in-depthly and optimally to solve game situations. I cite words of the coach Frank Fahrenhorst. Markus is his assistant. He is with me here on my side. Frank stays at home to prepare his team for the further matches. A strong tactical play cannot happen without good technique and knowledge in elementary attacking behavior. These are the words of Frank Fahrenhorst, an ex-national player, international and Bundesliga player, long time for Werder Bremen and for VfL Bochum and for Hannover 96. So, from the easy to the difficult, it's normal in the methodology, from simple to complex as well, and from slow to fast. Some basic points: caring and motivating, introducing criteria, introduction, practice technique with numerical advantage, get comfortable and automate, training in a fast pace at the end, and the appliance in the game pace. So, discuss methods, visual walk through, extensive repetitions, explain and demonstrate important elements, practice with simple defensive pressure, correct, adjust mistakes on the pitch, practice with more intense defensive pressure, master skill with competitive game and exercise scenarios, automate through playful game forms. Criteria during coaching and training session: pathing with appropriate sharpness and accuracy, pre-orientation, where is the ball, where are the free spaces, how can I help, timing at kickoff, communication, get out of the cover shadow, come to a gap, settle. Open position for the game direction, tempo change, direction change. Pass sequence. So the first exercise will be in the same moment as well, a warm-up. Organization, 3 groups of 6 players. Play and turn, play and dribbling, passing game. Bounce ball into the space and over the third, plus dribbling in the second, in the middle. And C, front player clears, pass for bouncing the ball into the space, dribbling, passing game. Duration, approximately 15 minutes, so a warm-up a special warm-up. Once again, the first slide, and we can get into it with a help by Ciaran Skinner from Liverpool with an animation. So this is how the ball is played and how the players move to the next point. That was the first slice. We have taken it on video as well during the trainings process. Please concentrate on the first red field. Play, open, play, always body between ball and opponent to secure the ball. And then trying to play clear and quick the next one. So middle block once again, as well with help of Ciaran with the animation. And as well seen and to be followed in a video, middle section, play, and always body between ball and opponent. The opponent is the hole. Okay, coming to the third. It's the play over third. Up, 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 and we change, players change position. As well seen in the video at the end. So that will need a proper technique, but as well from the tactical point, always body between ball and opponent. So we continue with the following organization: 2 groups and 3 teams, each with 3 players. We play in the field A a 3 versus 1, that is to say numerical advantage. 3 red play against 1 blue. The 2 inactive blue are in the middle zone for this moment. The players stay in the center, and the team white spreads to field B, C, and D in this moment. After 5 up to 10 passes, it's up to you, it's up to the level of your team. Let's say 5 passes at the beginning. After 5 passes, the ball can be played in the adjacent field, but please take care at this moment that it is the field A to B or A to D. To avoid, please, in this moment, field C, because it is obvious that 2 obstacles are in the way. If you play in field B, the 2 white players from C and D have to change quickly to field B, and a new blue player moves to 3 versus 1. That is to say that the one blue player will go into the middle box, and one of the middle box will change to field B. Red is distributed in this moment in the empty fields, like it was the case with the white players before. So, change of task after mistake and after a ball capture or after a certain time window. Some variants, it's normal that it can develop. Contacts, three contacts, only 2 at the end, perhaps a direct game, but this is rather delicate. So variants 3 versus 1, and it can be widened up into a situation of 3 versus 6 versus 3 at the end. The field can be increased, bigger, but it can be as well diminished, smaller, some variants. Duration approximately 3.3 minutes, 1 break within. So Syrian shows us a little bit the idea once again. So 5 sequences, and now the change of fields, and the same continues. The reds will gather in this field to play the 3 versus 1, and the 3 white players will separate themselves, go into the other fields. We will see it as a video clip as well. You see always the building of the triangles to give the player of my team the possibility to have 2 options. This is the training of our under-17 team in November when we did the videos. Okay, it continues, organization process, 2 teams with 8 players and 2 neutrals. Field size 30 by 30. Procedure field 4 versus 4 plus 2 red players, neutral, and 4 wall players, whereas the neutral players are always with the team which is in possession of the ball. Free play or limit the contacts. Wall players are not allowed to play with, but they are wall players. They can bring the ball back into the field. 10 passes, 1 goal, for example. Neutral players, if you have central midfield players, this would be the right position for them, so they are trained as well in their positions with this exercise, always in possession of the team with the ball, and ball conquest or error task changes. So, variants not to the same player back the ball, duration approximately 3 minutes and 1 break, and we see it as well as animation. So the red ones are the neutral players. The white players can bring the ball to the wall players in white, and coach is looking on the watch at the top. The same on the pitch, and you hear already that there is a certain room on the field. This is what I love, what I like, communication among the players. They have to help themselves as well by shouting the names of the ones they see. And you can get an incredible level in it. Okay, the last thing, training the apply by the match organization and process, 2 teams of 10 players in 4-4-2 without 2 strikers, so 9 versus 9 for the moment. Competitive game, 9 versus 9, 5 up to 10 pass sequences in the middle zone, free play on the opponent's goal, variance not to return the ball to the same player, free game, contact limit, and use overpower players as neutral players. So duration twice 12 minutes and 4 breaks. The animation to this. So it is always now in the center, the triangle form building, the way without ball, to go to the one who is in the possession of the ball to help him, left and right and everywhere. So let's have the last video. So and there once again, it is not a cimetière, it is a pitch. So it has to be shouted, it has to be loud, it has to be live on the pitch. So you see here the coach will take the mistake which the player Barnes made because he hides himself in the shadow instead of going in the space and bringing a good position for the player in possession of the ball. Always the same. Question of tactical behavior on the pitch. Okay, questions to this, to all this, if ever? No problem, we have a black-yellow ball from Dortmund.
Anybody?
So you know Dortmund is only 35 kilometers, but Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic are big friends, so everything is okay.
It's got a microphone in it. Ready?
Okay, do you prefer with the young kids to go one touch, you know, on the practice, say they play 4v2? Do you prefer, you know, you to encourage them even on the young age, they to go one touch instead of you to give them?
It's a difficult question for the moment for me because I have not for my very eyes the level of the boys. I think it is always depending on the motoric skills, on their technique. Don't ask them to do it if you see that they are not able to, because this may be rather frustrating. Frustrating. So. Thanks.
Would it be possible for you to show the slide, I think 3 slides back? I wanted to take a picture of it, but I didn't get to it in time.
I hope I'm able. Tell me.
The next one back, that one.
That one? Please go on.
At what age do you start focusing on the tactical side of the game? in your academy. At what age do you start focusing on the tactical side?
Yeah, I think that the best age to begin in a real concentrated work as well should be the age of 8 and 9. It is a little bit tricky, this question, because I would like the kids to go earlier to the ball, but what is counterproductive is a wrong teacher to give them wrong movements on the way, because they will put it in the head, and this to switch off at the end is a very, very difficult process. So please begin with good teachers, good pedagogues, good psychologists, good footballers in a very early age, but do it in a correct manner. The problem is that sometimes fathers go to train their children. It could be helpful in the moment if the father is as well himself persuaded that he has to go to the league, to a stage of coaches, and to get some knowledge of all these processes.
Hi. From your young ages all the way to the end, to the older ages, does every single training session and training activity follow a specific game model in terms of positions, or are they, for example, in this session, are you looking solely for attacking behaviors of individual players or small groups of players? In other words, are you focusing on positional roles in this age, obviously, and then do you look at that from 9 years old and older?
It's I think it's a difficult theme as well, but if you begin in younger ages and you do it correctly, you give a good technique to the players, you begin with simple forms, with simple play forms on the field, always with the idea, and at the end of every training, doing a game on goals. I think you cannot make any fault if you continue and if you go from step to step and from the easy to the difficult and so on, and get a feeling for this as well. We have three groups, if you wish, in Schalke. There's a group from 9 to 11. There's a group from 12 to 15, and it is the group from 16 to under 23. And it is a question of teachers, of trainers, of coaches to have an eye on it, how to progress. But it is true. It is always a permanent progression up to the big match, 11 against 11 in the professional team.
Hey, what can you tell us about your tactical sessions? What age group do they start, and how the coaches they do approach this tactical session, in-class sessions?
In short, it will be a little bit the same answer, that we will begin with tactical elements, with easy tactical elements, which are included in this idea of the game from the very beginning. But we will not do an 11 against 11 with 6-year-old boys and with the demanding of can help me, please, Spielverlagerung. Switching sides over 40 meters or something like this. No, you must have pitches which are small, which they can overview, because otherwise balls which are not so heavy, everything plays a role in it. And in the age of under 15, there will be tactical elements in the age of under 16, and a preparation for the professional team will be done in under 19 team, seriously, with everything the football has. Okay? In short. It could be another seminar. Okay? So, thank you for your attention. Have a great day, have a great time on the convention. And it would be a pleasure for us if you could join us at the clinic at 1 o'clock later on. Thank you very much. Glück auf. I forgot something. Please wait a moment. Please, Jay, I need you on the stage. It is always the same. At the very end, you forget the most important. And the most important is now for me to say a big, big thank. To be here for me is a great thing. And in the last moment I met Weston, and Weston gave me a shirt, signed it, and Jay, this should be for you. Thank you very much for your help.